Hi, I opened this art journal and this page already has some paint on it, but I really like this dark blue. What I'm gonna do, it's kind of bumpy too, it's pretty texturized, so we'll see. I'm gonna start collaging since there's already a background of paint. I'm gonna start throwing down some collage, just really haphazardly, not really putting a lot of thought to it right now. I have a whole little bin over here of a ton of scraps. And I'm just gonna start, I'm just gonna start gluing a lot of stuff down. If for some reason I feel like this is a little too bumpy for my glue stick, then I've got matte medium nearby. We can definitely make it more liquid and see if it'll lay down. I have also, I have some pages from my urban print pack that I created for you guys. I did a couple of papers on, I had printed some of them on tracing paper too, which is a lot of fun. I know I mentioned it in an earlier video, and it really is fun because the paint can peek through, or it can even, you know, make some of these colors even pop more depending on the color that's behind it. So that's a lot of fun. And that's on tracing paper, and then this is on plain printer paper. So let's just start collaging and see if we can't get a bunch of this covered up and let some of the blue pop through. I'm really gonna try to go fast right now because I do not wanna overthink this. I just wanna lay down a bunch of these scraps and these pieces that literally probably need to go in the trash. And I'm like, you know what? No, we're just going to lay them down and keep going crazy. Ooh, I love that green. I'm gonna do that green. And just get some stuff down. Not even think a lot about it. We'll think about it later when we start bringing it together. And definitely add some more paint, maybe some stenciling on top. But right now, it's all about the layers and it's all about the energy I want to bring to this page. And here's some fun tissue paper, some polka dot tissue paper I had laying around. Let's see what that does. We may need to add that at the end too again, because this is probably going to disappear right in the background, but that's okay. We'll do it for right now. See if some of it stays. It's very fragile, people, fragile. I'm not a fragile person. I don't do well with fragile. My hands, I've got man hands. Okay, let's see what else we got over here. This is an old palette paper. This is getting ripped up right now. This has so much fun color in it. So what I'm going to do next with my paint, I'm going to do a little bit of a dry brush technique. This is another technique that I like to do around this stage where I kind of want to start. This is like insane, right? This is crazy. All different kinds of patterns, shapes, thickness of collage paper, color. I mean, there is no colors harmonizing here, and that's okay. Because what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get some of my favorite tried and true colors once I find them. Some of my favorite colors where we're going to do right here, right now, is the Titan Mars Pale. Oh, these are both Titan. So I'm going to use like a Titan Mars Pale. I may add some Napthol Crimson in there just to make a little bit of different varying hues of this light peachy pinks and colors. So we'll just throw some down and have some fun. We'll add a little bit of white probably. And let's do the dry brush technique where I'm just gonna kind of swipe it over a little bit and just see if we can tone some of this down and bring it kind of together, because we're gonna make the same brush strokes all over everything. So it's gonna kind of tie everything together. And then we'll see how busy it is and what maybe more stuff needs to be knocked back. And when I say a dry brush, it is, as it's called, it is not having your brush really soaked with water, because I really want you to see the strokes and you'll see what I mean. But if you work with acrylics like I do, and you don't get the brush wet at all, I just picked this up, this hasn't been used, so it's completely dry, that acrylic paint will get down into the root of the bristles, and it will ruin your brush. It will never come, it'll just dry and you won't ever be able to clean it. So even though we're using a dry brush, I am still going to I always just get my brushes wet. I just want them wet up into the bristles, so that it'll stay wet up there and that acrylic paint won't dry by the time I get to go over to the sink later on after my painting session and wash them. So now I'll dry it for the most part, you know. So it's not really completely dry brush, but I'm definitely not using water to move my paint around right now. And this actually, you know, these pages have a lot of blues and greens going on right now. So I am leaning towards the cooler, or the warmer colors. There's a little bit of a light orange we can throw down. And I see some hot pink right there that obviously, we can't have a page without some hot pink. So let's just go ahead and put it on the palette. And actually I have some unbleached titanium too that'll give a good neutral color. So what I'm trying to do, even though this is a lot of fun color, you're gonna see me first go in, we're gonna pretty much neutralize this page a little bit. And I'm not really, like, I've mixed these colors enough to know I love these colors, but I'm not doing anything like certain ratios. We're just gonna sit here and play. Like, I just know that I love these colors. So lay down what you love. Lay down what you love. I just know I don't want to go crazy on the color yet, even though we've got some darker colors here. We'll bring those in a little bit later. But right now I'm just gonna have fun doing a dry brush. And because I don't want it all to be just kind of uniform, and if you see anything you love that you covered up, say I covered up that, and I'm like, no, I wanted that pink to pop through. No big deal. Grab a wet wipe or a paper towel and just bring it back through. Bring it back to the front and then keep going. So you can kind of see how this makes this look scratchy or a little bit distressed, and that is a dry brush technique. So we can do that. We can add a little bit red if we want, you know, just to make it some different colors throughout. And I still want some of my blue to pop through. That navy blue I really like. And then we're just gonna slowly keep layering up until we get to a point that we like it and that it's not so crazy, but you're still seeing the texture, you're still seeing things peek through. I didn't have a lot of paint back here in this background, so this is kind of a time too that I may want to go ahead and fill that up with some color. This isn't going to be, this isn't a big deal because this isn't like this is getting hung up or anything, so it's not a big deal either if I just left. I mean, we are literally having fun and kind of seeing what comes of it, maybe practicing, you know, maybe you're trying to practice some colors together to see if they look good together, or you want to try this dry brush technique. You know, it's really just all about exploring, having fun. You know, at this point, I'm starting to think a little bit more. So like I said at the beginning, we weren't thinking, but now, again, I don't want to think too much, but I may be thinking a little bit just on, is there anything particular I didn't want to cover up that I want to make sure I let peek through? You know, that's kind of all you want to think about. When you start doing this enough, you'll also probably, without even trying, you'll start kind of seeing focal points or areas of interest start kind of shining through that you know that you're going to address later, or you know, add to more later, because you already kind of have that in your mind. You know, a little bit of this blue, I could just keep shining through. I love this streaks of pink and white with that blue that's popping through. I love that color blue too, so I don't want to cover that up a lot. This was collage paper, but it was just a lot of white there, so I'm going to cover that up. All right, so this is looking a little, let's bring in a little bit more white. It's looking a little bit pinkish, which is okay, but we're not done. We're going to add more layers. But how fun is this? I just want some of that dark blue to come through. I really like that dark blue. So that's, we can just make it happen. Okay, I kind of want a little bit of gray. I think I want some gray to tone it down too a little bit. Let's do, you know what? I know this Payne's gray is going to be way too dark, but let's just see if we just add just a smidgen, just a little dot to this white, and see if we can't get a neat gray going. And I'm going to go ahead and take some of this ink out of my brush. I like Payne's gray too. It has a little bit of that blue tint to it. Cool. Okay, so we still got some good polka dots peeking through. We still got some good color. We've got all this texture that looks cool from the collage paper, even though we covered up a lot of the color. That's okay. We've got still some pink streaks, white streaks. We've got the blue. I think this is a good point to let it dry. And since we've got really good clusters going on here and here, if we wanted to bring in some elements for our focal point, like in the final stage, or maybe do some stenciling, an area right here will be good, or an area right here, and just to mirror it, we could do something smaller up here. We could do some words. You know what? I'm gonna actually, while that's wet, I'm gonna take, I already see that I want to make some marks. I'm gonna cut that off now because that's driving me crazy. I don't know where my big girl sister scissors are, but we're just going to, you know what, we can just tear it. Let's just tear it. Oops. That's a happy little accident, because you know what? We're just going to cover it up. That's okay. We're going to cover it up. Now I do have quite a bit of water on my brush now. Let's wipe it off a little bit. And let's go. Let's try a little bit of red. That's probably going to turn into a purple, but I really didn't want to do, but that's okay. No, that's okay. I like that so far. Still looks really busy, but don't worry. Now that I kind of knocked this back a little bit, now I know that I want to add a little bit more. I don't know that I'm gonna like this color. I think maybe I do want more white, but let's just try it. I'm kind of curious if maybe just a little bit off-white won't be such a stark contrast. But I do want to knock back some of the color again. I like the layers. I love what we're doing here. Let's knock it back a little bit more now. Sometimes you just kind of got to work through it and just keep doing layers to make sure that that's really what you want to do, and I do. So we're going, and I dried my brush again, so it's still going to be a little bit. Now this is looking great, and I know we covered up a lot, guys. That's why I said don't put anything precious down. You know, just really don't think about it. Get out a pile of stuff that you know you don't care if it was thrown away or used, and just get it down. Yeah, this is exactly what I wanted this to do now. I really wanted to back this out because you guys know I'm gonna come in with that hot pink. You know we're gonna do something with that hot pink. I want this to kind of look like a continuation, so I'm going to cover up some of that. Seeing the middle area. Let's leave it like that. Let's leave it like that, and let's dry it. Let's dry and come in maybe with some stenciling now and see, and we can always knock more back later. But let's go ahead and dry this a little bit. That looks kind of like floral. I love whatever is going on here. Look at this whole area. I do not want to cover this up. This got really neutralized, so I think a cool, huge floral thing here. It kind of looks cool. I know that I just might as well take this off because I know I want to do something different with this. Staples can stay in there though. That'll look cool. Oh yeah, people, that's going there. And I think you bring it even up. I just want to show you guys how gorgeous this is. I just think it's so pretty. It's just like, what's back there? You know, what's underneath the surface? And this is coming out really dark, which is really making it look deep. Looks like this has depth. You know, and then we got this, we got some texture going on, little words showing through the polka dots, got our scratch marks revealing a little bit about what's underneath. And this ended up being great texture, but pretty neutralized, and that's good. We'll add a big popping out focal point to this side. All right, let me get it dried. Okay, so this is dry enough right now. I started getting my stencils out. This is one of my favorite stencils. You guys have seen me use it a million times. It's from Wendy Brightville and Stencil Girl. It's one of her florals. So I think I want to do a flower over here. And then I had that old book spine that you guys saw earlier that had some staples and little whatnot stapled to it. I'm going to glue that down here. I love that it's kind of adding to that. And I had a little piece that I had created with a raised C. That may go there. We'll see. Let's do this one. And I'm definitely going, now that I know that this is towards the end of my layers, I am going to go in with a hot pink. I do want something bright now. I like that. I may seriously call this done. Let's take I want a really light, very ultra fine writing utensil, and I'm gonna do some very light scribbles, and I know I'm gonna use a mechanical pencil. Yeah, I like it. Yeah, I really like how this ended up. And honestly, the only thing, and I have to sit with it for a little bit, the only thing I would consider doing when this is fully dry, I don't want to mess up that stenciling. When this is fully dry, I would consider coming in with a little bit of white and maybe just, let's just do it. Who cares? Let's just see what happens. I mean, we can start very small and just see if just a little bit of white. This kind of knocks back. I want these little sections to pop just a little bit more. And this is what's great about going slow with your layers and knocking things back. You guys saw how I just took it stage by stage, layer by layer, and I thought your thinking process gets more and more to your final layer. First layers, don't think about it because that's when the magic happens. And you shouldn't be thinking that hard anyways at the beginning because you're covering it up. If you're like me, you're going to cover it up. So like you can tell, I'm doing the most, you know, decision making and thinking things through towards the end. And now I just really, now my paint is not fully dry. I just want a little bit of stark white there. You know what? That really what does is that brings your eye. Now, even though I didn't really want to cover up any of this, I do want to just bring a little bit in because this is my focal point. And just a little bit of light to give your eye a place to rest. And I mean, this is a journal page, right? Anything can go here. You don't have to even do as much as I'm doing or think that hard. You can be like, girl, this is done. Call it a day. But for me, I am playing and being loose. But then again, too, I am actually knowing that I'm working some things out too in my mind that I can take to canvas later. So towards the end, you know, something was calling to me. I was like, this piece is not finished. I want some white in here. And you know what? I wanted to go ahead and do it while you guys are watching, you know, so you can see that I'm working it through, you know, intuitively right in front of you guys. And this is how I work with my paintings on canvas. And so, you know, this is just to help me with my decision making later when I am doing something bigger that is going to be hung or sold. So you can just not worry about it. And you don't worry about it anyways. Just go with your hunch, because even if that messed it up, who cares? It's an art journal page. I'm gonna close it and call it a day, you know? But practice it. Follow that hunch. Follow those hunches in these journals, because it'll tell you what to do when you really are trying to make something. I like the white. It really balanced it out. It really did. Even though those other colors are very neutral, I think the colors that we are showing now pops even more because we added some white. I was afraid the white was gonna be too stark, but not at the end. Maybe earlier in the layers it would have been, but not here at the end. I think it's just great. I think it's fine. I like it. We're gonna call it done for now. All right. Thanks for joining me. Hope you had fun. And if you make anything, or if this inspired you to try something, or even just follow along and tried my techniques to do your own, please tag me. I want to see, I want to show you some love, and I will see you guys next time. Have a great weekend. It's Friday here for me when I'm recording, so have a wonderful weekend. Bye.